back from executive session. Mr. Romano, please take roll.
Mr. Patton.
Present.
Mr. Chumley.
Present.
Mr. Rudy.
Present.
Ms. Sanborn.
Present.
Mrs. Spencer.
Present.
All present.
Thank you. Next up is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up is the motion to adopt the agenda. Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Sanborn, thank you. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rudy.
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn.
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer.
Yes.
Mr. Patton.
Yes.
Mr. Chumley.
Yes.
5 yes.
Thank you. Next up is our West Clermont Volunteer Recognition. Jenny?
Good evening, President Patton and members of the board. On behalf of the West Clermont School District, we'd like to first share our sincere thanks to all of the volunteers who support our schools throughout the school year. Tonight, we are proud to recognize 9 incredible volunteers who generously give their time, talents, and hearts to support the students, staff, and families of the West Clermont Local School District, and were selected as the 25-26 Volunteers of the Year. Their dedication strengthens our schools, enriches opportunities for students, and reflects the spirit of partnership and the community that makes West Clermont so special. We are truly grateful for the impact that they make each and every day. At this time, each principal will introduce their selected volunteer and share a few words about the meaningful impact they have made within their school community. And first up is Principal Shane Short from Amelia Elementary.
Good evening, everybody. Amelia Elementary would like to recognize Miss Vicki Smith tonight. Vicki is truly a gift to Amelia Elementary. She brings an incredible level of kindness, patience, and compassion to everything that she does. Vicki has volunteered countless hours in our classrooms, working with small groups to build students' vocabulary, strengthen their reading fluency, and most importantly, growing their confidence as learners. Her impact extends into math as well, where she engages students in fun and meaningful math fact fluency games and help them feel successful and capable. No matter the subject, Vicki meets students right where they're at and helps them believe in themselves. Beyond the classroom, she's a constant and caring presence during student lunchtime. She takes time to talk with students, listens to their stories and jokes, and helps them with little things like opening food, and never hesitates to jump in and help clean up. She treats every moment with students as an opportunity to connect. Vicki also goes above and beyond through her involvement in our Amelia Tigers Helping Hands Club. She's always willing to help in whatever we need. She's amazing at organizing materials, supporting projects, and even attending field trips to Sienna Gardens Nursing Home, where she helps guide students in creating meaningful and heartfelt connections with residents. Vicki is the definition of a team player. Our students adore her and take pride in sharing their successes with her, knowing she played a part in their growth. We are incredibly fortunate to have her as part of our Amelia family. Thank you, Vicki.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Curtis Mason. I am the principal at Clough, and I am here to recognize Ms. Angela Merkel as our 25-26 Volunteer of the Year, but I will say this is more of like a Lifetime Achievement Award, wouldn't you agree? But she has been a constant and valued presence in Clough Pike classrooms. Since her children were in kindergarten, she has generously given her time to support both students and staff in countless ways, from planning memorable classroom celebrations and organizing materials to making copies and accompanying students on field trips. She has always stepped in wherever help was needed. Ms. Merkel has been the PTO vice president and a camp volunteer, not once but twice. She always did this with a smile on her face and made everyone's day brighter. Her commitment, reliability, and positive spirit have made a lasting impact on our school community, and her contributions have truly helped create a supportive and engaging learning environment for all students. And now that Violet is headed to her middle school years, we are really, truly going to miss you. And we appreciate everything you've done for Clough. You're welcome.
Good evening. I'm Josh Young, the principal at Holly Hill. If Clough Pike has the Lifetime Achievement Award, Holly Hill has the Lifetime Educator Award from Miss Lisa Mayelis. She loves Huskies, Holly Hill, and reading so much we couldn't get rid of her this year. She retired from West Clermont last year after 32. Jeez, please. 32. She did good. But she comes in a few days a week, helps our students that are most vulnerable, struggling with the reading skills, supports them, works with them one-on-one, small group. She supports the teachers as much and staff as much as she supports the students. The kids still last for Miss Mises. I don't think they think you left. Like, well, she's still here. It's a little less often, but she's still here. So we're just super, super honored that she would spend her retirement days and hours with us. And just continue the mission of our core work of just teaching students every day for that next option in life for them. So, round of applause for Lisa Mayelis. She's awesome. Next up is Melissa Carher from Merwin.
Good evening. I am honored this evening to recognize Bev Gannett. Miss Bev is what we call you. I had asked her tonight, Miss Bev, I don't know how to say your last name. Help me pronounce your last name. The Merwin community has been very lucky to have Miss Bev. She has volunteered countless hours in Mrs. Ventura's classroom. She is always more than happy to assist in any way around the building, even helping clean the lunchroom floor, wiping noses, all the things that we do for our 5-year-olds. She works with our youngest Mustangs, from helping them become more confident readers and writers to assisting them as they are working on their Zern math lessons. She will happily stuff Mustang folders with important papers to go home and never turns down a student who asks her to tie a shoe or give a hug. The students absolutely adore Bev and are so excited to see her in the mornings. Her time and dedication to Merwin is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Miss Bev, for being so amazing.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Courtney, and I'm the very proud principal at Summerside Elementary, and it is my honor tonight to recognize Mr. Linton, aka Mr. Cliff, as our Summerside Volunteer of the Year. Mr. Cliff started as a volunteer and mentor at Brantner Elementary with other members of his church, and he transitioned with us to Summerside to continue to foster the success he supported the students he was working with. Fast forward to 9 years later, and Mr. Cliff is now an unpaid employee at Summerside Elementary. His passion is in math, supporting foundational math skills by helping students work with 10 frames and practicing their math facts. He has asked for curriculum guides. We have ordered resources and materials for him to continue to come and work with students. He brings new ideas and lessons and how to support our students' growth when he sees another way is needed. Through the years, Mr. Cliff's popularity with our students has grown. And with students wanting to eat lunch with him and be a part of his math group and beg to spend time with Mr. Cliff. And as a result, he continues to work with several teachers and continue to foster success with those students who need to be mentored and supported in any way he can. His time volunteering began when he was simply bringing our weekend food bags each week and shooting basketball hoops with the boys that just needed that additional extra touch. And fast forward to Mr. Cliff being at Summerside pretty close to 5 days a week. And he often would come in the morning as well as the afternoon to reach all students across the grade level. He's transferred his support to practicing reading recently, and our students and staff appreciate his willingness to support student success in new ways. Thank you, Mr. Cliff. It's an honor to know you. It's an honor to work beside you, and for dedicating your many hours and energy to Summerside students as a mentor, as a mathematician, and as a volunteer at Summerside. Your support is so much appreciated through the years.
Good evening. I'm Megan Patterson. I'm the assistant principal at Willowville, and we're here tonight to dedicate our volunteer appreciation to Julie Sneed, who has worked endlessly at Willowville for the past 8 years. From serving our PTO to making copies for our teachers, organizing and running Christmas parties, and even chaperoning the difficult field trips. Julie has gone above and beyond. She comes in with a smile on her face. She's ready to do anything that anybody asks her. She also loves to show up for our school in little ways. She brings our teachers coffee and treats and a soda and a candy bar on just those really tough days when they need a little pick-me-up. She just brightens our day in every way that she can. We appreciate everything that Julie has done for us, and we're going to miss her at Willowville next year. She's dedicated so much time, and as her youngest transitions to middle school, we're going to miss everything you've done for Willowville. So thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Sue Hall, and I'm proud principal at WT. WT Elementary is excited to recognize Mrs. Connie Diesbach as our Volunteer of the Year. Ms. Connie, as our students call her, first connected with us via the partnership with Withensville Church with various projects and supports. This school year, Ms. Connie has primarily volunteered in Ms. Schaefer's class, and I'm asked Ms. Schaefer to read what she wrote about Mrs. Connie.
Good evening. Miss Connie has been a volunteer in my first grade classroom for the past 2 years, coming 3 days a week. She goes above and beyond for my students. Miss Connie works directly with individual students to provide targeted support aligned with their specific academic and social emotional needs. She helps students strengthen fundamental skills in reading, writing, and math, adapting strategies to match each student's learning style and pace. By offering patient guidance, clear encouragement, and positive reinforcement, she helps students build confidence in their abilities and develop greater independence in the classroom. Her one-on-one support allows students to take academic risks in a safe, supported environment, resulting in increased engagement, improved focus, and a strong sense of self-confidence. Ms. Connie's dedication complements classroom instruction and contributes to student growth in overall classroom. In the words of my students, she just helps us become a better person. My students, myself, and WT are forever grateful for all the work that you have put in.
We just found out that Miss Connie is stepping away from volunteering before you told us, before you got this, right after. But we thank you for your time, energy, and love for our students in school, and you have made a very lasting impact, so thank you.
All right, and it sounds like we have some great volunteers coming to the middle school here next year. But I'm Rachel Deach, I'm one of the administrators from WCMS, and we're here to celebrate and recognize Shannon Wygan for all of her dedication. So she's one of the WCMS's most dedicated and dependable volunteers. For the past 4 years, she has been a part of our PTSO, consistently showing up ready to give 100%. And helping create positive, memorable experiences for our students and families. From organizing a fun-filled field day to coordinating grade-level skeet nights, dances, and the annual fundraiser, Shannon's dedication and energy make a meaningful impact on our school community. Whether she is serving donuts at our Student of the Month breakfasts, helping with PBIS rewards, selling spiritware at events, or stepping in wherever help is needed, Shannon always does so with a smile. Her welcoming presence, reliability, and commitment to WCMS have made her an essential part of our school culture and student experience. And I love seeing her there so often. I can't want to keep that going. So, up next we have the high school and Shannon.
And on behalf of the high school administration at WCHS, I would like to recognize Tanya Hinkle and share their special words about her. If there is an event happening at school, Tanya is there to help. Homecoming ticket sales, career exploration night, band events, choir events, senior aloha, whatever help we need, we know, and always in times that we don't realize we need. Tanya shows up with a smile and kindness. She has been instrumental in multiple organizations, PTSO, band boosters, and choir boosters, supporting so many students at WCHS. We are so grateful for her presence when she is here and her giving spirit. The students at West Clermont High School have benefited from her time and energy. Congratulations. Thank you.
Josh, you gonna take a picture?
And announce the short reception. Okay.
So at this point, we're going to take a 10-minute break just for some snacks out there. We're going to just take a 10-minute break and be back.
Oh, we're taking a picture.
They can see us.
And the nerves go on.
Yeah, right?
you guys. So next up would be our public speaking. I'm told that there are no cards. So moving on to our consent agenda. Josh, please.
Good evening. In front of you is the personnel agenda for Monday, May 18th. We have one retiree to highlight on our agenda tonight. Donnie Morris is retiring after 25 years of service to West Clermont School District. He currently serves as the head custodian at Willowvale Elementary School. We wish him the best in retirement. Are there any questions about the personnel agenda tonight?
It's going to be strange without Donnie around. He's such a hard worker.
Yes. I'm sure to pass that along.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. Next up is Larry.
Yes. So before you is the second reading of the AI policy 7540.09. As you know, the policy is required to be passed by all school districts by June 30th, 2026, per ORC. So that policy was put together by a task force drawing some language out of ODEW and Neola's sample policies, but that has a very specific West Clermont flavor to it. It is very focused on human-centered AI use and ethical use, what have you. So it is the second reading, so any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Larry. Next up is some field trips. Looks like Ellie.
Good evening. This evening we have requests for 2 overnight field trips. The first is item 7.03. We're seeking approval for football students to attend the West Clermont High School football summer camp. This camp is going to take place at the Rocky Top Sports World Complex in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Athletes will be traveling and attending from July 12th through July 15th. The second item is item 7.04. It is for some key student athletes to attend the Wolfpack Camp Tour. This tour will be taking place between June 8th through the 14th, and it's an opportunity for our football players to be seen by college coaches, to compete against other student athletes. They will be attending 6 different college and universities representing a variety of conferences. They'll be traveling to Wake Forest, the University of Charlotte, Coastal Carolina, Lenoir-Rhyne, Davidson, and Georgetown College. And so it's really an opportunity for our student athletes to be seen on a national stage, to interact with other student athletes and college coaches. And so we're really excited about the opportunity for them to participate. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Next up, Mr. Romano.
Thank you. Item 7.05 is request for approval of minutes. Those were for the meeting that was held on May 4th. It was a regular board meeting. Item 7.06 are the request for approval of donations as presented. The donors, this was for the month of April, were from Crossroads Church, Bubble R, Withamsville Church of Christ, Longhorn, the Honey Baked Ham Company, RJ Cinema, and Snapdragon Books and Gifts. Item 7.07 is request for authorization for the superintendent treasurer to negotiate and execute contracts as presented. There are 2 of them. The first is K-12 Business Consulting, and the second is Hamilton County ESC. Item 7.08 is a resolution amending and supplementing the fiscal year 26 annual appropriation measure. And again, most of these during the interim are not for the operating fund, but for the other state and federal programs and our local funds, the school activity accounts. And item 7.09 is request for approval of financial statements, the bills paid list, investments for April 2026 as presented. So the consent agenda is item 7.01 through 7.09.
Thank you, Mr. Romano. You've heard the recommendation. Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Sanborn, thank you. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Patton?
Yes.
Mr. Chumley?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay. Next up is, looks like it's presented by you guys.
Yes, the West Clermont Citizens Advisory Commission is here today to present their findings and talk through that. Ellie is going to lead the discussion.
Good evening again. So we're just going to start off by having members of our Citizens Advisory Commission introduce themselves. We're grateful for the time, the energy, the thoughtfulness, their contributions. The purpose of tonight is for them to really share with you kind of what they've learned and to make some recommendations for how we move forward, how we might decide to move forward given the current state of district finances. So we'll just sort of start here on this end. They'll introduce themselves and then we'll get this kicked off.
Hi, my name's Katie Ewers. I am a mother of a 6th grader at the West Clermont Middle School and a almost fifth grader at WT Elementary, and I'm also the PTO president at WT Elementary.
My name is Derek Parker. We are citizens here in West Clermont, and I have a wife who works here with you all.
My name is Megan Hartley, and I have a 1st grader at Clough Pike Elementary, a preschooler at Willowville, and I am also on the Clough Pike PTO.
Everybody, I'm Richard Spalding. We have, it's my wife, Jennifer Spalding, as we say. We have a 12-year-old son, who's behind me, is in West Clermont Middle School. He did very well this year. And then we have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old in elementary, Amelia Elementary. I am also the baseball coach, Amelia Knothole, the VP of Amelia Knothole, and I coach help football and also coached flag football for several years. So, and baseball, yes.
Lots of hats.
I'm his wife. No, I'm Jennifer Spalding, and I help him with Amelia Knothole. They made me the league rep this year for some reason, so I do that too. And then I just volunteer at the school, but yeah, we've got our 3 boys, so.
I'm Tricia Moore. I have had 2 sons who have graduated from West Clermont. I am alumni, my husband's alumni, and I teach at the middle school.
I'm Kimberly Jetter. I am the Link program teacher at Clough Pike.
I'm Cassie Coe. I'm actually a West Clermont alum. My children go to Summerside. I volunteer in the district, and I'm also sub in the district, and I'm a former public school teacher myself out in North College Hill and Mount Healthy.
I'm just gonna kick things off for us. All right, I just wrote what I was gonna say, so I wouldn't forget anything. So the West Clermont Citizens Advisory Commission consists of people from the West Clermont community, including parents, teachers, and residents who have volunteered their time to research and discuss topics that are current priorities for the district. The CAC was formed to give citizens who are part of the West Clermont School District a chance to interact, learn, share feedback, and talk with our Board of Education, which gives us the voice. I had not participated prior to this year, but I was looking on the website and saw they've been around for a while and done some other projects in the past. But this spring, we convened to discuss the public school funding process, the past, present, and future, and how some recent decisions made by the government at the state level have greatly impacted the school budget and how they will continue to impact school funding even further in the upcoming years. Spoiler alert, it's going to affect everybody in West Clermont in some way or other. The commission discussed measures that have been taken and explored future decisions that might have to be made as a result of these House bills that have happened. So now I'll turn it over.
Okay, so how did we get here? Well, the Ohio legislature passed 7 House bills that affected public schools funding. The point of the House bills was to have relief from property taxes, but because of that, it has limited the way that we can collect property taxes. It has given the county auditors the ability to determine which part of those property taxes we get. It has prohibited us from, in the past, we could, if we had a levy that was already on the books, we could just renew that levy and tell the voters exactly what it is. It's not any more money, it's just the same thing continuing. We no longer can do that. So it has cut our ability to fund our schools, and that has greatly impacted what we are doing. There are 5 major takeaways from this funding. First of all, the state took money that was already allocated to us, and so the cash has to go back. So it was already to us, and then we had to hand it back over. Future revenue is limited, so that limits the amount of funds we are receiving moving forward. It restricts the local control. It changes the rules of the ballot issues. It limits our ability to seek more funds. And it widens that gap between the local calculations and what we're getting from the state. It heightens that uncertainty because we don't know what we're going to get in the school taxes and because of credits and the county being able to decide. This was entirely driven by the assembly. It's not because of local spending, it's because of changes that they have made to those House bills.
I'd like to thank the board for allowing us to be here. I'm just going to say that when my admin approached me and asked me to be on this advisory committee, I really wasn't sure, but after showing up at the first meeting, I walked away crying and I went home and I was really, really sad for our district, to be quite honest. I think any teacher that's back here behind me understands that we are teaching the future of our country, and we give 150, if not 1,000% each and every day. But at the same time, it's like we have to stop and look and what's the district going to do now. The House bills obviously have taken a lot of money. I speak to a lot of people in my neighborhood. This is one reason I want to be part of this, is because the number one thing they ask me is, why is it property taxes? What happens to lottery money? What happens to, all the taxes? The big thing this year was, what about the cannabis? They put those out there and all this money came in. And why doesn't the school get any of that money? And the only thing I can say to them is that goes at the top at the state. So now we're at where we're at. And so one of the things we talked about is, what is the district doing now? So I can tell you right now, just already this year, we are losing a part-time secretary in our building, which is, she's going to be sadly missed. Just found out that our BCBAs are being cut. If you work in any building in the district, you know that we have survived since COVID on many of those BCBAs because of the issues of children coming. Some of them never came to school during COVID, and now we're seeing all of that. And some of them don't come and they don't care about learning. It's behaviors. And sometimes the behaviors ramp up in the classroom and teachers are trying to teach and they're trying to do behavior. And the first thought that I got when the BCBA came and said, guess what, we're going down to 3, I just wanted to die, because even us in our programs come out and try to support, so not having that support is, I think, detrimental, especially to teaching. So right now, I think we're doing a balancing act. So it's we're reducing expenses and raising revenue. So reducing expensive, what does that mean? Well, already we're cutting staffing. Don't know about salaries, because as everyone knows, you got a lot of people back here that's worried about that in green. So programs, educational and extracurricular, people always ask what's going to go. First thing people say is, oh, you know what? They're going to cut those buses. They're going to threaten us with the buses. I don't think it's a threat with the buses. Is where can we take things off that doesn't affect the teaching and the staff? So I know that was presented by Mr. Gebhardt a few weeks back, and that's one of the things they're talking about. Mileage within schools. How can we take some money off the top? Services, essential student support. For me, it's the BCBAs. I'm a special educator, and we have a lot of behaviors, and so that's worrisome, and I know it's worrisome to the teachers. after talking to some of them. I think some of the things is increased class sizes. We already have those. We got people teaching in closets. We got people teaching in libraries where we can't use our libraries. We have fourth grade teachers that have like 30-something kids in a classroom. I give them kudos. I have no idea how they can do that. I have 6 and I run circles in my rooms. Having 30-something, have no idea how they're going to do that. There's been talk of, do we reduce kindergarten? Do we rethink about our pre-K model? Are we going to eliminate elementary specials? Are we going to increase, like, pay sports? I'm one that's a huge proponent of sports in schools. There's a lot of kids, they only come to school to get grades because they want to play sports. I have a son that totally graduated high school because of that reason only. When you cut sports, people think, oh, you're threatening, so we'll do it. But it's true. Some people can't even pay the fees for sports, so their kids don't even get to be in sports. We look at the facilities. I ran cross-country at Amelia Elementary, or not Amelia, Amelia Middle School, the middle school over there, when they were the high school. That building is almost the same as when I ran there, and that was a long time ago. When you look at the outside, it's crumbling, it's falling apart. Like, that's scary. Like, that cannot be healthy for students. And so one of the reasons that I came in is, how are we going to raise the revenue? The only way to do it, because the state's taking back money, is we have to think about, do we put a levy out there? Is the levy even going to pass? Groceries are inflation. Gas, my gosh, almost $5 a gallon. I mean, it's just insane. And I think we're coming to you, I'm coming to you as a staff member, but more importantly, the kids. The kids are the ones that suffer. I know one thing we talked about was the fact that, we spend less per pupil than most of the districts in the state, and then some people come back and go, well, why shouldn't you spend more? We don't have it to spend more, but one of the reasons we spend less is so we can spend it for something else, curriculum or something else. So the state has taken $30 million from our budget, and we are already one of the lowest spending on our kids. But I made a quote here, and I kept it every meeting we've had. When you look at reducing expensive, it's not going to happen, but if we don't have funding, this will happen. So, thank you.
And Kimberly brought up a good point. When I saw that the need for this committee was, I knew that I wanted to join it because I'm coming from a district that is in a position that I could see West Clermont going into, and I can't just sit back and let that happen as a parent, as a public educator. As Kimberly brought up, we spend the least amount, but we have some of the highest performing index, which is a great thing for us as a community because we're getting the highest return on our investment. So even though people might say, why aren't we spending more? Well, we don't have the money, but also we're doing the best we can with our money. And I think that's something else we talked about a lot in our meetings is sometimes West Clermont still has this stigma of being a low district, a low performing district. Why would you send your kid there? And that's just not factually true. So something that I wanted to do with the committee is make sure that we spread that information to the community. That's just not true. We can't say that we're not a good district. We are a good district. And this last year I've had the opportunity to sub in almost all of the buildings, and it is an amazing community. Even the buildings that are a little bit more dilapidated than others, they're doing the best that they can with what they have. So the implications of the reductions to personnel programs, student services, and facilities will impact students. Our students are going to go without. They're going to go without services. They're going to go without staff. It's just going to completely impact their daily learning. Who wants to come to school like that? Who wants to? They don't. Staff not having much support. Who wants to work there? Who wants to work in a district where you don't have the things that you need to do your job? It's very demoralizing. I know at my last district, we had to provide our own copy paper. It was, yes, as a teacher. So, it's bad. And there's no BCBA, there's a counselor for the district. Staff turnover, I left. I was a almost 20-year veteran teacher. I loved the community that I worked in. I could not do it anymore. I could not do it physically, I couldn't do it emotionally. Parents are going to start to not see the value in our district. And right now, we also as a state have this horrible voucher system that's costing our schools $2 billion a year across the state. And parents are going to leave. They're not going to continue to send their students to these schools. I'm a proud West Clermont alum. I love the schools, but I can't send my kids somewhere where there's no specials. You know, they're not getting the reading services they need. I can't do that to them. And outside of just the school, it's going to affect the community. It just will. It's going to trickle down. This is the future. So if we're not educating them, who's going to take care of us? Who's going to continue the community? So the need is astronomical. Yeah.
I think that just reiterating what these ladies said, and just getting information out to the community, letting them know like it wasn't, you know, our board's decision or the local decision by any means, to try and get this, you know, updated, try to get more information out to the people. So just like how we've getting out to them, how we've handled everything, the cuts that have been made, how to maybe expand to reduce any more cuts. Just looking at the timeline of events, showing that to them, what has already happened, just from like when we moved here, and then like after COVID to now, and why we need to probably get this on a ballot to get voted on, so we can get, you know, the finances that we need for our kids growing, because our kids are growing. Our kids are all in sports specials, band activities, and we can't imagine, you know, sending them somewhere where those things are cut or they're not available.
And I said it in one of our first meetings. I said that we were looking for places to live, and I was living in Anderson at the time. I wanted to live out in the country because I grew up in the country. And funny is, I'm kind of like in the same place. I'm from New Albany, Ohio. Now, I don't know if some of you know, and we talked about it. That went from country to straight, one of the richest communities. And it's funny is that here we are. They never asked us for money or anything because we had a backer. And now we're a part of it, and we came in this, and we got into this, I guess our little assembly here, but community. And we were like, well, we came in thinking that we're gonna help do this, and we can get buses back, we can do this, and all of a sudden, right off the rip, it was like, whoa, okay? So now, that's not true. How are we gonna do these things, maintain it, but also increase it to make it better for our community? And that's why we're here, and that's why we care. And then going to the next slide.
Well, just so the community knows too, like they need to know specifics.
Because they don't.
Because they look, I mean, you hear about a levy and you're like, oh, I don't want my taxes to go up, I'm not gonna vote on that. I mean, they need to know, like, you're gonna lose teachers, your kids aren't gonna have the teachers that they need, they're not gonna have the resources, they're not gonna have the sports, like stuff that really hits hard in their faces, whether it's like a one pager or whatever.
I know just today alone, which is funny, that we had practice today, and I shipped my two younger off to go to practice, and the coaches are watching them, and they're supposed to be at practices over at 8, and I'm supposed to be there, we're gonna pick them up. Thank God we have a good community, that people we trust, that they do, yes. So, and that's, I don't know how to say this, but I grew up very old school. You don't trust people with your children, you don't trust certain people you do. And there's certain people, then there's a bylaw, there's rules that follow into that. And I came out here thinking and knowing that this community was like that, from listening to how people said things and done things, and this is my observation. And I'll be doggone if I'll sit here and watch a community fall. I won't. So that's why we're also involved. And when it says when the groups identify, you have your local schools, local sports teams. I think we checked that one off. All right, the PTO, here we are. Churches, we're very much involved in our church. We're very much in our church, and the boosters, being what we are as a VP and all the above, and the Million Knot Hole. Million Knot Hole it's a sad kind of place, but it's also, so the potential is so much there. And we started doing that by going out to Poochie's, going out to different places that are mom and pop places here in our community that are wanting those people to be there, not to go straight down to McDonald's. Stop, get something to eat, get a breakfast bowl, try it out, a patty melt, Thermenberg, I don't know, just try it out. That's what we're here for, you know what I mean, that's our community. And it's like the food partners. We go through and we get our own sponsors on our own teams. And each team, each head coach does that. And there's each person in our community, that's what they do. Well, there's only so many places you can go. Walmart ain't gonna hand you a sponsorship. They don't care. You know what I mean? They just drop prices for you to walk in and get a lawn chair. And that's the whole thing, it's the community that we're in. And the local, the employers, I'll proudly say this, and I'll say it in front of God and everybody, is that I work for the Cincinnati Reds. And I'm very proud of what they do. And I'm very much part of the community here. I allowed them to help get a part of the $1 million hole through the community fund, through those places. And that's why I'm here, why we're here, because if this is what's going to happen, and what I've already seen, and what I've heard in all of our meetings, is that we're the only ones going to say it. The community is. You can say it whatever you want to, but we're going to have to go out there. Because now what's funny is, just like today I left, and I said I had to go do this thing, right? And they're like, what thing? I've had 7 people walk up to me like, what are you doing, Richard? What are you getting involved in? And I'm like, what's going on? Just because of the people that I've surrounded myself with in our community. Because they know I care. They know we care. We love. We're God-fearing people that love each other and love our community and love the people around us. That's why we're sitting here. And that's basically all I got.
So some of the recommendations that we have, a good one is that we want to sustain the academic momentum. So while we are high performing and low spending, we want to, the bare minimum, keep that momentum, if not take it to the next level. So we want to do that by prioritizing programs, staff, and resources to ensure that students are equipped with the knowledge and skills needed to be prepared for anything, not just something. So we need, at the bare minimum, to maintain the funding level that we've had, if not more. More would be preferable.
So over the course of history in this district, we have high performance with low cost. But at a certain point, we kind of reach our limit. So how are we going to optimize those services and deliver the services that we have and the facility usage and maximize every dollar that we get? Because, you know, with the house bills that they have and our current situation, you know, we need to keep the performance where it is. But the costs are going up and the money's going down.
So we have to clarify what is at stake. So big thing that I brought at the meetings was during the last levy, I have a lot of neighbors. I know a lot of my neighbors in the neighborhood, and all of them go to Willowville. But they all ask me the same thing. I don't want to vote for that because my property taxes are going to go up. But I think the biggest thing that we need to get out to them is your property taxes may go up a little bit, but think of this. If we don't take care of our schools and we don't make them great schools and keep them great schools, then no one is going to want to move out and be in this community. Richard said it best. He researched it. He came out. They came out as a family. And I think the big thing is the fact that people always look at, oh my gosh, more money or whatever. I look at something different. I look at, well, I want to keep the neighbors that I have. I don't want them moving out. And then I don't want the wrong people moving next to me. I'm just going to be honest. We got a lot of, one of the things that I checked on and spoke at the meetings was, the other big thing is there's new apartments and new apartments and new apartments. And I asked questions, and what I found out is we still get money from the tax abatements in a different way, but we still get it. So even though people say, well, why don't they do tax abatements or so forth? I know that we as a district we have nothing to do with the building that comes out and the things that are being built up. All we can do is support those kids that are coming in there. And how do we support them? Because we're already busting at the seams. I mean, seriously busting at the seams. And there's just got to be a way. But we I think as staff, as community members, as parents, we just have to find ways through you guys. What do we do next? And how do we get out how dire the need is? Because in a few years, we could be millions behind. And it's just going to go down from there.
So the next step is we just need to figure out how we're going to generate that revenue and keep the good things happening at West Clermont.
That concludes this evening's presentation. Not sure if you all have questions or they're available to answer any questions that you might have, but this is the end of what they had prepared for you.
I don't really have a question. I am thrilled you guys seem to have a really good grasp on what has happened to our district, no fault of our own. And I appreciate the steps that you sound like you're going, the steps are, we need to educate our community on where we're at and how we can move from this point moving forward and do even better than we've done. I know our graduation rate has never been this high, and it's great that everybody sees that, but we have to keep the momentum going. I think you guys have all done a great job, and I think you have a really good grasp on reality and what it's going to take for us to move forward, and really reaching out to the community, and you guys being the community, that's how we're gonna get where we need to be, I think. I think you did a
I
great
think
job.
we also talk about a lot of things that you guys do is something I saw and I see is you need to sell yourself a little more. Like West Clermont, like their high school, not just the sports, not just, hey, we're state champions, blah, blah, blah. Like, #1 graduation, like have it up, you should celebrate everything. Or you're not, if you're success, people want to be a part of success programs. People want to be a part of winning programs. No one wants to be a part of a losing program. And if you show and brag and talk about it and act like you're the biggest one in the room, you will be the biggest one in the room. And I think some of that people that are leaving, I've talked to, it's like coaching a baseball team. And all of a sudden you're coaching a baseball team and half your team go play select ball. Well, you're coaching not-hole. You're trying to keep everything together. While other people think they're better in this way and this way, and they're going that way and that way. And their first question is, you ask them, well, what was that? And they're like, well, we don't have a middle school baseball team, so we're gonna go play select here and we're gonna do this. Well, I have a son that I believe is very well in sports, but am I holding him back by being part of that community? Or am I letting him go? And that's what every parent thinks about. I mean, how do I make it where they can get to that point, to that level? And I know this because I was blessed to play Division I football. I was blessed to have scholarships playing baseball. But I was blessed because my father and mother, it wasn't me. It wasn't them. It was me. I said, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. And if you have parents that want their child to be that way, and they're going to be that way, they're going to find a way to do it. And if your football team's 0-9, you're going to be losing some players. You're losing some people, part of the community that could be a big uptick to being that athlete, that sponsorship, that person. And I think sometimes bragging about yourself.
Well, I'm paying $500 to play football, you wouldn't have been able to do that.
Correct. Oh, no, that's what I told him that in one of our meetings. I said, my really good close friend still, he's the principal, dean of students in my high school. Actually, both of them, my football coach was funny, and then the head coach there. And he called me up and said, Richard, what do you think about charging $620 to play football? I said, well, man, I'll tell you the truth. If I was, back then when I was playing, I wouldn't have played. I couldn't ask my mom and dad for that money. I have 2 little sisters. I wouldn't want nothing. It's not that they didn't have it. I wouldn't have asked that burden upon them. So I would have probably worked harder in my construction job and worked harder and done more just so I could have played sports. And then if I didn't play sports, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't be in this path where I'm at today. I wouldn't have been able to play college football. My family's from southern West Virginia, coal miners. And that's the way it is. And we moved to Columbus for a better life. And here we were. My mom was a school cook, dad was a factory worker. And that's how I knew I had to go to school. That's the only way I knew to do it. Sorry, but I just think you need to brag about it. Make it good.
Good point.
So first and foremost, I do appreciate everyone. I've come to your guys' as I've come to a meeting. I've seen you guys. It's hard work. It's dedication, and I appreciate that. To your comment, we're trying to. There's always room for improvements. We're trying to do some showcase. We've done through the past year, bringing different kids and showcasing them, whether it's from elementary up. So we're going to continue to work on that and continue to do that. Because here's the thing: we want to make sure that in our district that we're meeting kids wherever they're at.
Yes.
Some are the sports, some are the theaters, some are the bands, some are the music. We want to make sure that we're hitting all of them because each kid, that's what motivates them to continue to come to school. One of the things that I learned quickly coming onto the board is in some areas our hands are tied when it comes to things. As a board member, I'm only a board member tonight, right now. When I'm done with this and I go out, I'm no longer a board member, I'm just Ryan Patton. And so I can, for lack of better words, preach the message to the community. So that's how I do it. this is the most this room has been packed since I've been a board member. Thank you for all coming, but the message needs to be delivered from all of us to our community members so that we each are being able to pass that message on. So it's not just me where people think that I'm giving them not the accurate message or whatever, but we just need to take the message and we need to go to the community and make sure that the community understands. The teachers need to pass the message that we have packed rooms, that we're doing the best that we can. That makes sense. I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but yeah, so, it's definitely getting the message out there to the community.
I think that they also need to understand, when you're talking about the $500 pay to play, that, some people will say, oh, well, people will still pay it to play. My son, when he was in middle school, we had 7 kids on the track team at Amelia Middle School. And we competed, because we competed against teams of 150, but only 7 kids could pay that $500.
Yeah.
So it does affect the sports.
It major effects, because you have kids
Absolutely.
that in this community as well. We all don't live in the White Houses. We don't live in they have trailer. They have areas that they live within, whatever, and they're different places from all different areas. And this area is definitely in this place. Like I could go on. Just different places, mixture of demographics, mixture of people.
We
And it's great.
We are a very diverse community. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a very diverse community, so.
One of the
yeah.
things, if I could
Yeah,
say
yeah.
about this committee, it was interesting because if you didn't know where we started, these were some of the hardest questions we got asked that first day. Because they're like, okay, this can't be real. It came from this can't really be happening.
Yes.
And so we had a group of people just peppering us with some hard questions, and then that realization of this can't be real to, oh my gosh, this is real, to, oh my gosh, we're hurting our kids. How do we save our kids? And this whole group went through that from, like, no one walked in saying, let's do this. They walked in by going, there's no way this is happening. And then it was like, oh, so what you see today is that morphous from this can't be real to we're ready to do something. We have to help our staff, our kids, our community. So I'm proud of how we got there. They got there really fast, but because of it was like, okay, once they understood it. Yes.
Give me a clipboard, let's go.
Yeah.
And we do have to find ways constructively to get that into people's heads, because 8 years ago, I was sitting out there with that kind of same thought as you guys may have had on your first day. And so I decided, I have 4 kids, all of them about to be at Merwin next year. 3 are already there, but that's why I'm here now. Because of them, because I thought I could make I could make more of a change than I actually could. And I found that when I got on the board, it's not reality like what you think. You start asking those tough questions and get the real answers, and reality is not as bright, or there's not as much in the pot as you might have thought. So we got to find a way to get that information into hands who aren't at the front of the line, who are out there in the community, who aren't actively searching for those answers like you guys are. We have to kind of deliver it where it's going to be heard, and that may be through some tough questions and answers, but it's on our shoulders as community members, as parents, as teachers. Like, it's on our shoulders to kind of get this ball rolling so we can make some positive change in a district that is really going to need it.
I just want to piggyback off of Richard though, because I know you talk sports, I'm going to talk special ed. So I want to say 5 years ago, the district took a chance and revamped our special education department. And I think my first year I had 11 students, and now I have 6, and they're autistic. They take a lot of work. I think one of the things that we need to do as a district is not just highlight the sports, because there are kids that will only go to school for sports, but I see a lot through social media where I don't know if I want to send my kid here because of blah, 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 blah. One of the things is we do need to highlight the things that we are really good at. We have some really great program teachers in this district, and we work our tails off. And we take a beating sometimes that you wouldn't even believe. But I don't think people realize the education those kids get either. And if you notice, we keep adding programs because we keep getting more children that have those types of disabilities. But we also need to, what about the gifted and talented? What about the teachers who also do clubs and things after school? So not just talk about the negatives of how we don't have money, but also what are the other things that people do outside that reach all kinds of different kids in the district? Because I think sometimes we're more apt to send out a flyer or something that says, well, if we don't have money, we're losing this, this, and this. But how about, hey, did you know that we have this, this, and this is how this is done? Because a lot of people aren't aware of that. So.
Well, a lot of times people only comment on that stuff negatively. No one ever
yeah.
wants to say positive stuff. It's always when they're all mad and whatever that they want to say something. Because I've seen that too. Even like on like days off where there's like, it's like a snow day or something. Like, you can't do anything right. Like, oh my God.
Darn if you call too soon,
you call too late. These people need something to do. You know,
Yes.
they need to go do something other than this. This is not working for you. So.
I think also.
I think too, is with that, like the little flyer in the paper or whatever, we don't have paper anymore, no one reads papers. I don't think anybody does, do they?
Well, we need like social media.
But something out there, social media, also something out there is like, hey, sign up to be the way of the wolf. You know what I mean? If you want to be a part of this community, something that tagging, because they would, because they're looking for their kid's picture, their kid's name.
Yeah.
And if they come out and say like the ceremony that Dalton was a part of in the middle school, it was 7:15 in the morning, and they're there, and I'm like, man.
And you can have two people there.
And everybody's
and you
there,
still couldn't
and it's
sit
having a great time and doing stuff. But
Great.
if you see, so Jim, my neighbor, he's been a part of the community for, oh man, he was raised here, and he's 70-some years old. If he looks in a flyer, instead of Facebook or whatever, and it has a little flyer with this Dalton Spalding Principal Award winner, blah blah blah, history of the month, the student of the year. They're like, wow, that's Dalton, that's next door. And then it's easier to approach him and say, hey, I need $1. Because he'll give you $1 to go pick up sticks. But if he don't know you or don't, and can't feel that pride inside about who you are or who he is or what he's done and doing the positive things, then he's not going to give you that $1. And that's what we're here for, looking for that $1. So that's just something that's simple as just like a, hey, or like something that pops up. People
like
are
a
into
mailer
that.
and then like a maybe social media. Somebody that does TikTok because I don't. Maybe some kind of little like commercials
Yeah, we
or
better
little
shut
like
up before
things
we
in
talk
school.
into another job.
Here's someone off.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's fine. I was just going to you know, one of the things that we've been talking about and to kind of pull it all back together is how amazing this district is. The things that we have done to help this district be amazing. And I know it was happenstance, but we're fortunate to have a full room today because what we do is amazing is because everyone that sits behind you, this panel right here, comes to work every day and does a hard job. And they don't ask anything other than they want their kids to be successful. They want to be proud of their students, and they want to be able to provide for their students. And so we're sitting here today doing good because of everyone that's sitting behind this row right here. And people in the row, of course, don't get me wrong. But yeah, in order to continue to do that, we have to make some decisions as a board. And I think moving forward, you've presented a great message. You've presented a lot of research, and to watch what we were able to do in such a short period of time has been phenomenal from where I've sat. So I appreciate all the hard work that you guys put into this. I know the board appreciates all the hard work you put into this. You've given us a lot of great information.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the evening, but also you're free to go if you've been here for several hours. So.
Thank you for all that you have done. This is the most I've heard from the group that has worked so hard and dedicated their time and talent to make sure that the board has this information. And I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I thank you for what you have done. It really opens up a lot of discussions in the future, us as board members, as to what we need to do and how we need to do it and what we need to focus on. That's important to the students and the staff this district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This thing lost connection, so I'm gonna go, are we doing this now? Are you doing your comments?
Yeah. All right, so. All right, so next on our agenda is superintendent comments. I'd like to start by saying again, thank you to the volunteers.
Hold on, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Just again to say thank you to our volunteers of the year once again for their service to West Clermont. They help make our district a better place for our staff and students, and we hope that they continue on. I know some were tailing off, and I know some were like, hey, middle school people, pay attention. The kids are going to middle school, you may want to grab them. Next, it would just remind everybody that on May the 20th, it's the Willowville Memorial Day Parade. And this Memorial Day Parade has been going on it's the 49th annual parade. It is currently the longest serving Memorial Day Parade in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
So it's a meaningful tradition that celebrates our veterans, and going through that, it kicks off at 1:30 on May 20th, and it goes with the parade following at 2:30. So that's something that if the board wants to attend, I would encourage it. And finally, it is graduation season. So I just wanted to remind everyone that West Clermont High School's graduation is this Friday. It starts at 7 p.m. at the Centos Center on Xavier's campus. And we have 591 graduating, with 571 students actually attending the event. So. We're really excited about that. So that's my comment today.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Romano?
Okay. So, we gave the schedule to the board about leading up to the budget for FY '27 and the processes that would take. And it would have been great if they would have stayed, because half, if not most of the presentation that you're gonna see is gonna be a repeat of what was said a little bit ago. And what I want to do, in the next, it'll be shorter, because most of what I was going to say, they had already said in place for me. But give an update to the board on our line item budget development for the general fund, provide a description of that development process that the administrative team went through to get that, highlight some of the proposed changes, and then let you know what the impact is going to be on the forecast that we have to provide, not just to you and the board has to adopt, but provide to the state and to the state auditor's office, State Department of Education and state auditor's office to do it. So understand, everybody looks at me as the numbers guy, and unfortunately, that's what I do most of the day, is work the numbers in two different things. But what all the people here did, between Cassie, Kimberly, Trish, Jennifer, Richard, and the others did, is they took those numbers and they personalized them. They put them in their own words, in their own stories, what it meant to them as a family, what it meant to them as teachers, support staff in the classroom, because that's the reality of those numbers, okay? It's unfortunate, I have to work with those. I'd rather probably love to work with what you guys get to work with every day. When I say you guys, I know that most of you are teachers in the audience, so I say that to you with it. So where'd we come from and where'd we go, okay? There was an October forecast, and when we did that forecast in October, it was a very different story than what took place 2 months after October, and some legislative bills were passed. Again, the team here told you all about those bills. I'll just give you the summary number. They said it. It impacted this district adversely to $30 million in a very short period of time. They took money from the past that they already gave us. They flattened what we are going to get, and they made sure that into the future, the growth of any local income was being suppressed, and the opportunity to get more local income was even more restrictive upon us and upon the school board, upon the school district as a community to do that. So from October to February, let me get it there, somewhere right here. The numbers changed to where in February, we were predicting a deficit in 2030. Why is 2030 an important number? Because that's when we have to do the renewal. Of course, I can't say that word anymore because it can't be a renewal of a levy. But in 2030, the 10-year levy, emergency levy that was passed in 2020 is up. Not much other choice to go back to the community to have, can't say replacement either, I don't think, but to have a new continuing levy to have that same income going on, okay? I know their numbers, but what's the difference here? So if we look at the column that is the first highlighted in yellow and look at our balances, yeah, we'll end this year with a pretty good cash balance. We'll end it with probably 2.5 months of dollars in reserve, and that's a good position to be in. If most districts within the state really strive to be at that, I will tell you 5 years ago, we were not at that. We are on the doorstep of fiscal caution, watch, and emergency, and the real meaning of that is somebody else gets to make the decisions for the 5 people to the left of Dr. Foltz, to your right, my left, but Dr. Foltz. Okay, so as things deteriorate, that's what happens to us as we go forward. When we saw that happen back in February, we knew we had to do a couple things because of what was going to happen to the cash balances and to where we're going. So by the way, if you look at what had happened, and the 30 million number, actually before the February forecast, there was one done in January that projected a $53 million deficit. So we did some things to already start taking items out of the budget to make sure that we weren't going to get a letter that told us we were in fiscal caution or watch or emergency to do that. Okay, I already spoke of what that legislation did to us. They spoke better about it than I ever could because it was personal to them. We're not the only school district in the state to be at this crossroads. There's over 200 school districts that were at, the board knows the number, we're at the 20 mil floor. The 20 mil floor meant that our local property tax revenue could grow, okay, when the value of the property grows, okay? That was stripped away from us. So instead of the 39 or 40% growth in property tax revenue that was created in 23, the state came back and lowered that to inflation rate over the 3 years of 11%. There's another reappraisal for this year. Rather than the true growth of the value of that property, we're off the 20 mil floor, so we can't get that anymore. But even so, the growth will be restricted to the inflation rate, or as they call it, the deflationary rate, which probably is going to be close to 3% a year, somewhere between 9 and 11% as we go forward to do that. What's that all mean? As we put the budget together, okay, the revenue changes that were captured in February really were impacted by those House bills, and then we did some expenditure changes to take that 53 down to $40 million in 2030. Very similar slide that was presented, by that team. I think Kimberly is the one that spoke on it. Okay, what do we need to do as we go forward? It is a balancing act between how much can we immediately reduce expenses, where can we find additional revenue? The real problem is, they know it, you know it very well, is that being one of the lowest cost per pupil districts in the state means that there's not a lot of muscle or skin on that bone, okay? When you try and go reduce something, there's not a whole lot there to reduce it, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute, okay? The other difficulty on the balancing act is really true, is that when the state, for over a decade, does not give us substantially any more money, the only place we could get more money was from the local property tax or the local community, okay, it just meant there was more immense pressure on that local community. And again, the state has not given us any more. So, when Kimberly was talking about special ed, okay, the state may say in the formula it gives us more money, but it doesn't because we hit our ceiling on this guarantee, so we don't get any more. The formula looks like we get more, but we don't, okay? We're capped at that. So doing that balancing act is not an easy thing to do at all as we go. They spoke about this, and it's a reality, okay? The thing that is most at risk, and I think she talked about going back 5 years and what things were like, we'd almost become a destination district for certain services, okay? Our population in certain services are growing in enrollment, and maybe the total enrollment is not growing, but in those special areas, it is growing, okay, to do that. But what's at risk? Over the last 5 or 6 years, where this group of people, the administrators, you took this district, was in a momentum and acceleration of student performance, which was very real and is very evident. That's at risk when we lose dollars financially. What's at risk is our students who got a little bit more, now are going without. It's our staff is not maybe getting as much support as they did in the past because there's positions being reduced. Is there going to be staff turnover when all of a sudden they don't see light at the end? Maybe there will be staff turnover, okay? Are parents going to not see the value in the district and may choose another avenue? That could happen, okay? So, but we want to make sure that however we can until we can balance our budget, we kind of keep things the same as going forward. Last week, and I'm going the wrong way, aren't I?
Yeah.
There we go. So last week, there was a sector report that came out from Moody's. And what Moody's does is they, not just school districts or cities or counties, but anybody, any company in the world, they assess their credit worthiness. And one of the things that I wish our General Assembly would have known before they took action is what they are really doing is putting very much at risk, and Moody's states it in this sector report, okay, the creditworthiness of Ohio school districts. And they were very clear in their sector report about what was going on. Moody's gave a similar presentation that these people did in their write-up of saying what those bills did to school districts. Three of the things they came out, or what they came out with is, what do districts in the state of Ohio really need to do, okay, as they look forward in the situation that they're at? So the first thing, and they're listed up there, and it's out of the report. I can post the report out. It's a published report. One is, when they talk about governance, okay, they don't just talk about the 5 people to the left of Dr. Foltz. They also talk about governance as being the administration, so including the district office, including the principals, but really the whole governance of the school district. They need to have credible levy planning strategy tools that include contingencies if the levy fails. What's that mean? Exactly what these people said. If we can't get additional revenue, how do we balance the budget? And unfortunately, that's on the expenditure side. Second thing, adherence to formal fund balance policies that provide meaningful budgetary cushion and next steps for breaching lower bounds. We worked very diligently. I know Ryan Patton, early on when he came on the board, really looked at the cash balance and the number of days we had on reserve and keeping that a steady number. And so the benchmark is 60 days on hand. It took us a while to get there. We finally got there, okay, a couple years ago, and tried to maintain that, and that's being pulled away from us. But we have to find a way to get that back, or our creditworthiness is at risk. The ability and willingness to constrain expenditure growth, including timely implementation. What's that really mean in simple words? We know, you know, that things need to be added that our students don't have, okay? And some of those things were added, okay? And unfortunately, because of what was done to us, things that we had planned for in the future, further curriculum adoptions, and I look at Ellie when I say that, but you know, redoing our curriculum, doing some other things that are very directly into the classroom may have to be suspended or put off because we don't have the funds right now to do that. So what's it all mean as we put a budget together for the next school year, for FY '27? So the target that we had in February when we saw this as a reality is that we saw a number of $3.5 million that we knew we had to reduce from our expenses. The chart on the right, the line that's going from the bottom left to the top right is our expenses. And although that looks like a steep line, it's really not. Our expenses aren't growing drastically, okay, but they're kind of growing at that rate of inflation to go forward. The line that kind of goes up a little bit and then dives down south is our revenue. And where those lines are crossing is where we are spending more than we're taking in, and unfortunately, that is really happening because the state's taking money away and it is reducing what we had been receiving in order to do that. To get the $3.5 million, the areas that we looked at were transportation and staff positions. It's great that we are a people business. Most of our budget is personnel, so wages and benefits for everybody that's employed here. We had to look at that. And then the third thing was in the discretionary spending, which we don't have a lot of discretionary spending. I'll show you how that came to reality in a little bit. So as we were putting the budget together, we looked at 4 different levels. We wanted to build a budget. We didn't want to just roll dollars over and cut things. So we looked at a mandatory level or some minimum level that was either required by law or required for us to give some minimal services. We looked at a reduced level, which was about 85% of the previous year's budget, to say if we had to reduce things, what do we want to make sure that we keep? A continuation level was, okay, if we had the same money as we had last year, how do we keep things going with that? We looked at that at the department level, at location level, and really cut across a large number of individual line items, okay? There was a 4th level, which was an improvement level that said, well, okay, if we made an investment today, how could we be better off tomorrow as far as being more efficient and effective to do something? So in other words, invest it today to save money tomorrow to do that. Okay. Again, we wanted to build a budget. We didn't want to just roll it over. Our appropriation or budget for this current year was $109 million, $109,500,000 approximately to do that. When we start building the budget for next year, and all of the cabinet, the district leadership were involved in building that. When we looked at the mandatory level, which in a lot of districts is a lot less, okay? Again, our per pupil cost in 2020 was like between 3 and 5%. Because we were able to take advantage of the increase in property tax revenue and others, it worked itself up to 17, 18%. When I say 17, 18%, of the total districts within the state, we were the bottom 17 or 18%, okay? We're per pupil about $2,000 per pupil less than what the state average is. So if you have a classroom size of 25 students in it, multiply that times $2,000, that's $50,000 more per classroom we could have been spending if we were at the state average, okay? So what ended up happening is when we were working with the administrative staff, what we saw was significant dollar amounts were landing in the mandatory level. Those were the essential things that we had to spend, that we were spending our money on. They weren't discretionary items. They weren't things beyond, you know, even a reduced level, so that they were in that. When the budget process, and again, we're still in the budget process, this is just an update. There's got to be some more review done. we end up doing a proposal, the cabinet, the administrative staff, to do a proposal to the superintendent, which builds about $108,382,000, okay? So about $108,400,000. That's about $3.7 million less than what we projected in the February forecast on expenditures, okay? And still, we're still working on that. Each of the lines that you see up there are comprised of hundreds of lines, if not thousands of different line items to buy things out of, okay? Does that really matter to a lot of people? No, but it helps us really identify what we can keep and what we may not be able to spend money on as we go forward to it. Again, those are the numbers. They have the story, around it. You have the story around everything. Where do we need to go forward from here? Continue the review of what's being proposed as the budget. The cabinet submits that to the superintendent. The superintendent has the final authority to review and make adjustments in it, provide that to the board. The board has the opportunity to review it and at the June 29th. That's targeted right now at the June 29th board meeting for the board to hopefully would approve that budget, which really rose into our appropriation measure, which really rose into the forecast in August as we go forward, okay? So by June 30th, we do have to adopt the budget, okay? That rolls into the authority to spend money and move forward with it as we go forward. So it's kind of the update of where we're at. Again, I mean, they told the story of our multiple years as we going forward better than I or anybody else could do, I think, to do it. One of the things that I caught that I was appreciative of is one of the things they were saying is as we talk to the community to be specific about what adding, cutting, what's going to happen. And so I think this kind of gives us the ability as we go forward to be a little bit more laser-like clear on what's happening and what we're doing to it as we go forward. That is it. So questions on where we're at, what we need to do, what you see?
Do you guys have anything to add?
Oh, no, you have any question?
Okay.
No, overwhelming.
That's it.
Tracking with you.
Thank you, Dan.
So I'm assuming no.
I have no additional comments.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Romano. Moving on to board comments, I'll start with Ms. Sanborn.
I just wanted to thank everyone for coming this evening. I know we as a board have a lot to look at and think about in the near future as to what needs to happen and what we can do and can't do. And with our financial situation being in the bleak in the nearest future, I think we have to decide what we're going to do and what we can do and what we need to enforce with our community to say that we do need money to run this district. We have to have money. We have to have them to support our community, our students, and our staff. And I look forward to coming up with solutions and resolutions that will help us move the district forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer?
Just thank you for everyone coming out. I know it makes it a long, long week, but you only got a couple more days left, so that's a good thing. But yeah, we are kind of in a crunch, but I appreciate the CAC and all that they have brought up to light and hopefully educating the staff and our community about where we stand financially and how we're going to move forward and to support our students and our staff as well, because we really appreciate all of the educators and all the supportive staff and all the work you guys do. And we know you guys have always bridged a very large gap, and we love that you do that, and we appreciate that. And we will just keep moving forward with the district.
Thank you, Ms. Spencer. Mr. Rudy?
Just like to thank everybody for coming out, and I'll keep it brief. It's past my bedtime. Way past.
Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Mr. Chumley?
Ditto, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I'd like to kind of piggyback off what they were saying. We do need to kind of boast a little more on our accomplishments. You guys all do an incredible job. The numbers prove it. And like we started this meeting highlighting some volunteers for our schools. I love doing it. We need to do it more often. And we need everyone to see just how strong of a group we are. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank our volunteers. And I look forward to celebrating with our students this weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Chumley. I'll start off with a couple of important dates. So we have a board retreat taking place June 13th, starts at 8 a.m. Our next board meeting will be June 29th at 7 p.m. here at the Civic Center. For me, this is a nice change of pace. I'm normally thanking the staff, and there's nobody here, and hoping people are watching on YouTube or something. So I do appreciate you guys being here. You guys are what keeps this district moving in the direction that we need to go. And so I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I've seen you guys in some of the buildings that I visited. So I appreciate you guys wholeheartedly for what you guys do every day, day in and day out. I too work in a school. I'm gonna be tired tomorrow, so I can already see that you guys are gonna be tired tomorrow as well. I'm already counting sheep here, so. I'm assuming nobody's going to object to I'm sorry, who wants to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Couldn't even get it out. Who would like to second that?
Second.
Spencer, thank you. I'm assuming there's no objective to that in the discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Patton?
Yes.
Mr. Chumley?
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
5 yes?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, too.